everyone for coming today and joining us for today's episode of Speak Spark. Our special guest today is TJ Schier, and TJ brings just a wealth of knowledge from so many different arenas. And you know what, Cassie, I'm going to ask you to, can you watch the participants and let them in as they're coming in?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So as I mentioned, today we have TJ, special guest TJ Schier, and TJ is going to talk about how to deliver top tier contactless service and how to really empower teams to engage in frictionless contactless service. Before we get started, I want to tell you just a little bit about TJ if you don't already know who TJ is. TJ is a successful multi-unit which franchisee, and he also is the president and founder of Incentivized Solutions. Incentivized Solutions helps brands, both food and restaurant brands, service brands, senior care brands, brands across the full spectrum of franchising, really engage employees, create dynamic teams, create cultures of extraordinary service. And he's been using his own many, I think at one point he had 16, which sandwich shop, Superior Sandwich Shop locations as a social lab where he literally tests the things that he's about to share with us. So I'm going to bring TJ on in just a second, but before I do, I just want to ask you guys all a question. If you would throw it in chat, please. In franchising today, in the last 6 months, we are really seeing a split with so many of our clients. There are clients who have been able to transition quickly to drive-through or curbside delivery or other methods of delivering product, services, solutions, and they're doing really well. Franchise brands in cleaning and restoration, all the home service brands are all doing very well. And then we have brands that we work with that are really have been hit terribly hard. And I would say the fitness industry, certainly salons, personal care. Which side of the fence are you guys on? Would you just put it in chat for us? I'll give you just a minute. You can just put hit hard or doing well. Great. Okay, thanks for that. So let me now just bring TJ on and let's get started. TJ, jump on.
All right, how's everybody doing out there today? It's a crazy time, as we all know, and thank you all for taking the time to spend a few minutes here learning how to deliver top-tier contactless service. So thanks again to Katrina and the team. We've got I think a good business thing here to talk about today. It is crazy times, as I said, and it really is all about service transformation. If you think back in the old days, and when I say in the old days, I mean February, and we talk about how the customer and our businesses interacted, whether it was personal services, restaurant, retail, you name it, the whole industry has transformed, and the successful brands have figured out how to transform their business. We interact with our customers in so many different ways, and I know we have a variety of people here watching the video or watching the replay, and it's everybody's a little bit different, but basically you need to transform your service model and then work with your staff and your teams to deliver service the way the guests want to be treated. Now, in my case, as Katrina said, I'm in the restaurant business when I'm not speaking, and these days there's not a lot of speaking going on, as you know, so I've spent a lot of time in my restaurants. And what's happened in our case, one, we're very fortunate to have a drive-through. So my business went from 80% dine-in and 20% drive-through to now it's 10% third-party delivery, 70% through my drive-through, 20% in the restaurant. And I know there's areas of the country where we're either still closed down by the government, whether you're in the physical fitness, theme park industry. Some of us can't have any interaction face-to-face with our customers. So it's a service transformation. It's very, very difficult to deliver guest service even when we are face-to-face. Brands like Domino's have dominated now because they're going into digital landscape where they've basically figured out how to let a customer order anywhere, do contactless, frictionless delivery. I think we have Jason from Skyhawks on here as well. So thanks for being here. And it's crazy. That was the last speaking engagement I had. I think that was very, very early March when they were in Dallas. And, they've had to switch their business to all virtual. I have a boot camp service that I go to here called Camp Gladiator. And we used to go out and work out 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 50 people at a time. And it all had to switch overnight to virtual or go away. And so your business, and think about this, is how can we transform the business? And as it relates to customer and guest service, I come from the 20-year background of teaching people how to deliver great service. And in the past, all it has been focused on is what our employees are saying to those guests. Can we read the guests? Do we understand what kind of guests they are? Have they been to my business before? Are they a repeat customer? Are they doing something special like buying presents for somebody to celebrate and those kind of things? And all of that has gone away. Now our business has been radically transformed because the customer service experience is entirely different. And it's not a bad thing. May not be a great thing for some of us out there. I know I miss the social interaction and being able to interact with our guests and interact with our customers. And you have that mask that's blocking our ability to read people's faces and see their expressions and those kind of things. But you think about where the consumer is going, and this is where customer service is going, and it's being driven by the customer. You can't fight this one. You have to get on the bandwagon and just realize customer service has changed, and it's probably not going to go back to the level that we had with the personal interactions in the past in many of the industries that you all are in. Some are going to stay the same to a degree where you have to be on site and you have to have that interaction, but there's a lot of people that are changing their customer service behaviors, and the service that we deliver has to reflect that. You see Amazon doing things like online when you buy, the people have often bought A or B or C. So they're figuring out how to sell digitally. We don't have to have an employee there upselling anymore like we used to. You've got grocery stores that don't even have a cashier at all. The customer literally just goes in, buys all their stuff, throws it in reusable bags, of course, and then they take it home and they've paid on their phone. No customer service at all, no customer interaction at all. Domino's in the food industry has taken customer service to the point where they can order food from Alexa sitting in their den watching a football game or watching Netflix, say, hey, Alexa, order pizza. Boom, Domino's shows up, contactless, frictionless. That's the service the guest wants. It may not be the service that you or I want, but the point to know is that they are going to give us the ability to interact in so many different ways, not just face-to-face, and a lot of it is going to be digitally. The key for the successful brands and what you need to be doing is you need to change your focus. So if you have less contact with your guests face-to-face, you have to figure out how you can engage with them in other places. They want it customized. They want it personalized. We have watches that we wear that tells us specifically how our workout was and what some of our metrics are personally. How many of us even go to the bank anymore? We just do everything via our phone. We Venmo people money. We may go to the ATM, but it's crazy down here in Dallas where I live. Bank of America took out all of their drive-thrus about a year and a half ago. And I think they're ruining the decision because for a while you couldn't go in the banks. And now they have these drive-thrus sitting out there, and they took them away to try and personalize the service. And I think that's backfired a little bit. But again, you have to define what the new customer service model is for you and your business. I miss going to restaurants. I miss sitting around a table with a group of friends and catching up and talking about those kind of things. And do I miss going to the grocery store? Not so much. I had to order something from Best Buy. I ordered it online, went curbside, pulled up to Best Buy, sent them a text, boom, my stuff came out. That's great customer service, and I barely saw an employee. But when I did and they came out there, they thanked me for their business. They were very, very friendly. It was less contact, but it was more impactful. So I urge you all to think about the different interaction points that you're going to have with your customer. But first and foremost, if you are in any sort of face-to-face contact with the consumer, with the client, with the customer, the guest, whatever you call them, you need to make sure you have a safe, sanitized environment and they can trust you. Trust is the new currency. If you're in the home repair business or the home improvement business or retail, or even if you're in the kids camp business or any of those places where we interact with customers, restaurants are another example. Health clubs are another example. When that customer is in your environment or when you're in their environment interacting with them, they have to trust you. You have to be following all the safety standards. I know even in my business yesterday, I saw a Yelp review pop up on my phone, and a guest had snapped a picture of my employee whose mask had just slipped down below her nose. And she said, "I'm never coming back here again because how could they let this happen?" Now, she's right. I get it. We have violated her trust. Somebody's mask slipped down. It happens. But it was a great learning opportunity for me to work with my employees and say, look, the guests notice everything. We can be as friendly as we want. But if we violate their trust, we're done. And everybody is hypersensitive to that these days. So first and foremost, make sure you are building trust with your guests and your clients, and please make sure that you communicate with them. Every opportunity you have, website, digital. If you have a physical facility, put the signage out there to let the consumer know what you're doing. This video here from Raising Cane's, the founder himself got on and talked about how important it is to him and how important it is to their brand, the safety of their team and the safety of their customers. You have to live it, because as I saw yesterday, if we slip up, the guests and the customers are going to tell us. But you're taking a lot of effort in your business to deliver great service with that foundation of trust. Tell the consumer about it at every opportunity. Now, everybody's order point is different. I know in the restaurant business, it's been crazy because now people are calling, our phones are ringing off the hook. It was kind of like, geez, welcome back to 1990. The phone is actually the primary place for people to place their order. So I had to teach people to answer the phone again. We never had the phone ringing in our restaurants. And now all of a sudden, phone has become a critical interaction point for us because they're calling to place orders. They're calling to see if the dining room's open. They're calling because they're sitting outside of their car and they're having a curbside order ready to go. It's so much different than it used to be. And then I hearken back to 2010 and think, wow, we all thought QR codes were dead. And guess what? QR codes are alive and well, and they're very valuable for us. I pulled into Best Buy, you scan the QR code, they let you know what spot number, boom, they bring your stuff out to you. Think about all the different places that your customer is interacting when they're getting information or placing an order with you, whether it's the phone or a call center. A lot of it can be done digitally or online now, which is great. The face-to-face part, again, if you have a physical facility, it's become very awkward. But that awkwardness is becoming very commonplace now, to have a sheet of plexiglass. I walked into Target this morning and I saw just a row of 20 cash registers, and all you can see is plexiglass in between the customer or the cashier and where the customer would be. It's so different. But we still have to deliver great hospitality, great customer. When you think about the next phase of the process, and again, if you're face-to-face, it's when we're delivering the product or the service that we have to your consumer or your customer. We probably have all used the Amazon lockers or Home Depot or FedEx Office, where we can just place an order, go pick up the item that we ordered or the product that we ordered, and we never even have to have any customer service at all. Now, if you think about this younger generation especially, a lot of them, this is native tongue to them. They communicate digitally, text, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. They're happy not to communicate face-to-face. It's our presentations. I love giving sessions, keynotes and workshops, and see the expressions on the faces of the people and get the audience reactions. This is entirely different. I never have to worry about the camera going out when I'm doing a live keynote. Yet here we are, it's different. The service is different. Look at the opportunities where you deliver your product. Contactless does not mean no contact. Figure out ways that you can connect with your consumer if you don't physically see them when they're picking up the product, such as an Amazon locker, or even like pickup. You can go into a Panera right now and people can get their food from a shelving unit sitting in there. They never interact with anybody. Put a nice note on there, a little Post-it note. Follow up with an email or text to see how their orders were. There are things that you can do to deliver top-tier customer service without even physically seeing the customer face to face. So think about those things. And I also urge you to not just think about every interaction point you have physically with the consumer, but also what if you have a facility or you have a place that the customer is actually coming, how is the messaging that you have with that customer being delivered to them? I cringe every time I see a business when I walk in the front door and there's a big kind of nasty, aggressive sign that says no mask, no service. Don't come in here if you don't have on a mask. It just sets the wrong tone for the customer. We're all on edge already. Everybody's worried. Everybody's dealing with the same issues. See if you can have some branding messaging to say the same thing, i.e., you need to wear a mask to walk in here, but say it in a way that's spot on for your brand. These signage examples that I have here are not right for everybody. They're not right for every brand. If you're a franchisee, you may need to make sure that the brand, your franchisor, approves of the messaging that you're putting on there. So it's spot on and it's reflective of your brand, but it also is saying to the guest, hey, some of these you can tell we're a fun brand. Some of them are trying to be a little sarcastic. That's not right for everybody. But make sure all the messaging that you have, because our customers are interacting with us now digitally on an app, on their phone, online, or maybe physically in the building, or if you send out emails, make sure your messaging is resonating top tier customer service. Now, I mentioned a little bit kind of the contactless point. People go where they have less friction. And what I mean by that is like me going to Best Buy. I place the order online. I drive over to the place. I park in spot X. I hit them up with a text or a QR code, and my products come out and they're dropped in my car window, and I have very little interaction. Go back to the trust, go back to the safety. I'm not within 6 feet of somebody. They're wearing a mask. I'm wearing a mask. I'm in my car. They're not. We have to make this frictionless for our guests. Now, in a lot of places, that's a little bit more difficult. I know my boot camp, and I would imagine Jason and his Skyhawks camps, it's totally different. We have to spread people out. We have to make people stay a little bit further away. It's hard to share equipment like you used to do. I can't go to a boot camp and borrow somebody's weights anymore. I have to have sanitizer stations everywhere for me. So you have to think about how we can solidify the trust that we have. But in those opportunities where we cannot work remote, we cannot work virtually, we have to engage with the guest face to face. Think about how you can make it as frictionless as possible. I know in my case, I'm getting ready to put QR codes outside because when somebody comes to get their food curbside, they have to call me. And they call me right in the middle of lunch. We're probably not delivering great service on the phone if we're in a rush or we don't answer it at all. That's a negative guest or a negative customer service experience. Those are the points of friction that we have worked on in our business to improve, because if the guest can trust us and it's less contact and it's frictionless, we're going to win and we're going to be their brand of choice. Now, hospitality still needs to be part of your DNA. It's a little bit difficult when it's kind of hidden behind a mask. It's harder to read body language and cues because you can't see people's facial expressions. But I actually saw a Chick-fil-A not too long ago. They actually had clear cutouts on their masks so people could see them smiling. What a great deal. If you have a part where you have phone support or people taking orders or interacting with the customers on the phone, please, like you see here on the screen, put a little mirror right by that phone so people can see that they can see themselves smiling on the phone, because you can hear that tone on the other end of the line if you're the customer. You have to have that basic hospitality DNA still. And again, I think because so much of our communication and our customer service interaction points now are digital, I think it's a great opportunity for you to really leverage this younger generation. If you have some of those type of employees that love to do these kind of things, they're great at delivering great guest service because they love to text all the time. I see people when I hear them talking about guest service and it takes them 24 hours or 48 hours to get back to somebody, I cringe. If we have an issue and fall short, somebody should be on that right away. If they post a review on Google or Yelp or Facebook, somebody needs to be on there right now, getting on top of that thing and taking that feedback and handling those issues. I started dealing with two different vendors in my case. One is called Tattle and one is Ovation, because so much of my business shifted off premise. In the past, I could give a guest a receipt with a survey on it. I'd get information, plenty of information. Now everybody's going through the drive-thru in my case. So what I do is I put a little a card with a QR code in there. If they want to answer one question, rate it 1 to 5. And if it's 3 or less, they get some input in there and I get notified immediately. So if somebody has an issue, I can get it fixed. I literally can send them a free sandwich via a text link. And I've had this in place for about 6 weeks now. I've had 3 different guests that literally told me 1 star, you're terrible, you forgot my fries, those kind of things. And we instantly won them back because I got an alert on my phone. I got right on the text with them directly. I'm the owner. They see that, they're forgiving, they understand because they see that we care. So use that feedback. Tattle's the other one because what I've done is just automate a response to go to the guest that's placed orders online or digitally. So again, they place an order 2 hours later, an email goes out. Hey, this is TJ. I'm the owner of the store. Thanks for ordering from me. Please let me know if there's anything we could do better. Now, again, I don't even interact with those customers. My employees don't interact with those customers, but the customer service that we are delivering, even when we fall short on occasion, is top tier. And that's the things that you need to do. And then take that feedback, because this is where your employees come in to play. Take that feedback and follow up with your teams. Remove the roadblocks where we have systems in place that make it difficult. What I do when I see common threads of issues, and I recommend this to you as well, I put little videos that I make on my iPhone, a minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes at the most. And then we just put a little QR code right in the workstation that they access the video so everybody can watch it as they clock in that day and they start to work, because it helps them improve service based on what the guest or the customer is telling us. Yesterday, my mask example was a perfect one. I made a little video, popped a link out to everybody, told my manager, print the QR code, put it right by where everybody clocks in and out. Watch the video when you come in to just reinforce the importance of little behaviors that we start to take for granted that the customer's noticing. So leverage this ability. Think about it yourself as a personal trainer to get everybody to continue to improve. Things change over time. You get good at certain areas and challenges in other areas. Continue to follow through with your team to improve your customer service. Now that's kind of the high level part of culture of having a customer service culture. We have a simple mantra in ours: make the guests say wow. It's very simple. Make the guests say wow. When we have an issue like the mask yesterday, I use that. What is our mission? Make the guests say wow. If the employee doesn't know that, I have a bigger issue. But rule number 1, what is it? Make the guests say wow. Okay, great. Well, what happens when the mask slides down? Oh, that's no big deal. But we have that rule number 1 so they understand what is it that they're supposed to do and why are we doing this? And then we role play and train. The QR codes are great, but we do simple things about calling our own restaurant, listening to how they're answering the phone. Are they delivering great service? We order online orders under other names and go pick them up to see what we're doing. Are we delivering on the promise? Don't use it as a hammer. Use it as an opportunity to train and coach your teams to get better. That's what you need to do. Then once you've done those 2 things, clear mission, clear vision, clear mantra, trained and role played, it's time to empower them and let them go. It's kind of like the old saying in Texas, trust everyone, but brand your cattle. The brand that we have put on them is our service DNA. In my case, it's make the guests say wow. Do your employees have that mental brand on them so that they know when the guest or the customer asks them something and the little devil pops up and says, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. The angel pops up on the other shoulder and says, make the guests say wow in my case. And it empowers them to make the right decision for the guests. Because I love it when I hear somebody say, everybody there was so friendly, I don't even know who was in charge. That's when you know you have it. That's when you know you have top tier service. Your job as an owner, as a manager, is to really just make sure we're continuing to follow up, like I mentioned earlier, continually improving this. The things are going to continue to ever change and evolve. And what may be great service today or one way that we're interfacing with a customer today is going to be entirely different. In a couple, they may shut down things again. It's going to be different. We have to continue to evolve and follow up and improve. Delivering things virtually, customer service virtually is a lot different than being there face to face. I can't imagine being a school teacher right now because the skill set required to teach virtually is a lot different than it is to keep 30 kids' attention in your classroom. That's how it is in your business as well. So follow up with them, continue to improve, listen to what your customers are saying, and remove all the roadblocks, remove the things that make it difficult for them. Great leaders don't pass the pressure down. I know it's tough with all the COVID challenges and restrictions and things we have, but you can deliver great service through your team if you follow these simple steps. Now, I greatly appreciate the time that we've had today, but just to kind of recap, you have to think about this as not just a change in customer service. It's a change to transform your business. I use Domino's as a perfect example. Their stock has performed better than Netflix, which is amazing. And Netflix has gone crazy. But Domino's transformed from a pizza delivery company to a brand that has basically no more phone anymore because everybody's ordering digitally. You can literally order anywhere from Domino's. You could be in a park. You don't have to be tied to a house or an office anymore. They viewed this as a transformation of their business. Home improvement companies are being inundated because we're all at home with nothing to do right now. I went to buy some AV equipment. You can't buy it. Golf courses have gone crazy. It's different, but you have to transform your business because if you're not going to, it's going to be difficult to survive. Now, at that point, I'd like to stop talking and hopefully have no more video problems and open it up for some Q&A here. Katrina, I'm going to turn it back over to you, I guess, and how are we going to handle this on the Q&A?
So before we do that, I want to do just a quick commercial for next week's Speak Spark event. And next week, we're going to be talking about something entirely different, but it's something that's near and dear to my heart because kindness is our #1 core value here at Franchise Speakers. And next week, we have the kindness catalyst, Linda Cohen, and she's going to be talking about the economy of kindness, the actual ROI to businesses who build their culture around kindness. And she really she has some excellent examples. I hope you'll join us. It will be on Thursday, November 12th at 12 o'clock. So we're doing Speak Spark every week on Thursday at 12 Mountain, and we'll have a variety of different topics. Cassie posted that in the registration link in the chat for us. Thank you so much, Cassie.